Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in. The theme of this episode is Off My Chest subreddit. So let's get into it. The title of the first story is I stalked my husband for 2 years before I formally met him. I, 24 female, married my husband, 28 male, about a year and a half ago. The first time I saw my husband, I was a freshman in high school. He was a freshman in college. He was walking his dog at the park when he stopped to talk to my brother, 27 male, because they happened to go to high school together. That was the moment I became hooked. That same day, I found his Instagram, his family's social media, and also where he lived since my brother offered to walk him home while I tagged along. When I got home that day, I knew I wanted him. But of course, I was only 14, while he was 18, so I came up with a plan. I found out his younger brother was only 1 year younger than me and would be attending my current high school. I figured that I had to befriend his younger brother by any means possible next year when he moves up as a freshman while I become a sophomore. And I did. It took around halfway of my junior year where we became best friends and he invited me over regularly to his house to hang out. This is where I was able to befriend my current husband's mom, and God did she love to talk about him. From her, I found out what college he goes to, his past girlfriends, what his elementary and middle school was, his favorite and least favorite foods, his pet peeves, what he likes, etc., etc. Eventually, when my visits started getting more and more frequent, I formally met current husband again. Current husband, I'll call him E, would come over every other week and stay for either Friday to Sunday or Saturday to Sunday. On those days specifically, I would wear my cutest outfits to impress him, and also joke around with him a lot. Eventually, I befriended him as well. A little background on E. He is the school record holder for a certain sport at my school, which I just so happened to do. And around halfway through my senior year, E came back during the season to help coach the current high school athletes, which included me, in order to get some more volunteer work hours in. And I got to spend a lot more time with him. I loved every second of it. We were friends before, but then we became much closer since I got to spend lots of extra time with him after school. Whereas sometimes he would even drive me home since we lived relatively close. Fast forward to when I had to move away to New York City for college. E moved with me since he coincidentally got a job near my college. Edit, I lied. It wasn't a coincidence. I found out he got a job offer and applied to a college nearby his workplace. Being each other's only friends in a new state, we became incredibly close. We started dating when I was almost a sophomore in college. He proposed to me after I graduated, and we just got married almost a year ago. He knows absolutely nothing about how I truly know him, and believes it is fate that brought us together through his younger brother. Lately, I have been debating on whether or not I should tell him, or at least his younger brother, the truth, since the only reason I befriended him was to get closer to E. I feel guilty every time he tells others our love story, because the truth is, I've known him for 10 years, while he's only known me for about 7.
If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you.
Sorry, that's creepy. You're creepy, girl. I feel like there has to be something going on up there. Like, not to be rude or anything, but to be that, like, meticulous and that, what's the word? Not, like, manipulative, but just, I don't even know the word. I can't think of it. But, like, detail-oriented and that, like, plan ahead, that is diabolical and very scary to me. I fear, are you Joe Goldberg? Like, I fear this is Joe Goldberg in girl form. Okay, there's a small update and then there's a large update. But the small update says, I read a reply saying that the best thing for myself is to keep it a secret, which is what a lot of people are saying. But the best thing for him is to tell him. And I figured that person really is right. I will be telling him this Tuesday on his day off. He deserves to know who he married. Sorry, I'm creeped out. I'm getting the chills. I'm getting the heebie-jeebies. This is Jeepers Creepers. Okay, let's read the update. There's actually 2 updates. The first update, I told him this 4th of July. After the fireworks mostly ended and we were heading back, I asked him in the car, quote, wouldn't it have been weird if we met each other before the first time we actually met? but we just didn't think of each other as significant at the time. He smiled and turned to me saying, "That's impossible. There's no universe where we would have met, and I would not think of you as significant." That statement struck me in the heart because I knew I would soon prove that sentence very wrong. But I continued on with my plan anyway. Quote, "What if I told you we have met each other before? Before that time, I was introduced as E's little brother's friend." He looked at me like I was crazy. So that's when I pulled over on the side of the road and pulled out my phone to show him the post I put up here before that explained everything. He took about 8 minutes to read the whole thing, and when he finished, he put the phone down and stared straight ahead, almost like he was dumbfounded, scared, and confused all at the same time. I started throwing out every excuse and apology I could muster at the moment for about 15 minutes straight when he decided to tell me to stop, and I did. And then he just sat there and sobbed uncontrollably for about 10 minutes before he finally asked me how much of our relationship and how much of my identity was fabricated according to his liking. I told him the honest truth. None of my personality or identity was fabricated for him, except for the fact of how we met. The only thing I ever changed about myself to make him like me more was lying about liking Chinese food. I hate Chinese food. But other than that, everything else was real. Although my friendship with his younger brother was built upon ill intentions, my friendship between his brother and I are now one of the most genuine friendships I have now. He just cried and told me that he does not want to divorce at all, but he does want us to have some time apart so that he could absorb the truth that I gave him. He also said that he expects me to tell his brother and mom this Friday because they deserve to know the truth just as much as he did. I told him okay, and we drove the rest of the ride home in silence. When we got home, he hugged me and cried for about 5 minutes before he got out of the car, packed his stuff, and said that he will be staying at a nearby hotel for now. He said that he knows that he still loves me, but does not yet know how to react to the fact that the beginning of our relationship was very, very orchestrated. To sum it all up, I guess telling him was a success. I honestly don't know. He sent me a good night and I love you text last night while he was at the hotel. So I guess he's not as much mad as he may be betrayed. That's the word that I was looking for. Orchestrated. Like, that was orchestrated so meticulously. And that is the scary thing. That is what is so scary to me. I can't even really imagine what I would do. I'd be like, "So you're obsessed with me?" And I feel very confused. "So you were obsessed with me and you stalked me since you were 14 years old, is what you're telling me." And through the ages of 14 to whenever they got married, she didn't ever meet one other person that she liked and wanted to date. And her eyes were just laser beamed onto me the whole time. I don't know. It's giving not mentally well. Update 2. Woke up this morning to find out that hubby not only lied about going to a hotel to stay at, but also lied about not wanting a divorce through a text message. He went to his family's home, not an effing hotel. Told them the entire story himself, probably exaggerated it too to make me seem crazy. His whole family wants nothing to do with me too. Claims I'm psycho. He said that he lied about going to a hotel because he knew if he told the truth, I would try to stop him. Honestly, I feel so betrayed. I tried to be a good wife by showing him the true me, and this is what he does? I did all this work for it to end up like this? Honestly, I kind of deserve it. I didn't even tell him in the first place because I felt bad. I told him because I had a suspicion that he was catching on to the fact that I knew him for 2.5 years before he knew me. Largely because I found out he was keeping my old phone in his work desk. My old phone that has screenshots of a lot of his old Instagram posts, plans in my notes app about him, etc. So I guess he never truly loved me if he can't even get past an honest confession like this one. I might update this in a few years when I find a new husband. LOL. Okay, I'm scared. Wait, is this real? Please help. I'm so scared. Plans in my notes app about him? Oh no. Like, I get having a crush and like writing in your journal about someone that you have a crush on, but this is just so extremely creepy to a next level. Also, I might update this in a few years when I find a new husband. That statement has me so confused. Okay, let's read some comments. The top comment says, I once dated a girl who I happened to have walk into my work after not seeing each other for over 10 years. Turns out she had been stalking me and had been going to every business in the area that looked like the one I was standing in front of for a group photo. I pretty much reacted to it as well as OOP's ex, and I wondered, just like now, why she thought it was an okay thing to admit, let alone do. Don't do this. It's creepy as F. Oh my God. And then there's another comment responding to that comment, and it's kind of long. I feel like it's probably a story, so I kind of want to read it. Gingerbread Man 13 said, back in early 2000s when I was 15 and in grade 9, I became sort of close friends with a guy in my high school class. Let's call him Daniel. Fast forward a year later, we're now both in grade 10, and his 13-year-old sister had just finished primary school, so she joined our high school in grade 8. Almost as soon as she joined our school, she develops this huge crush on me. She would sit during recess near to where my friends and I would sit so she could see me. And then she started following me everywhere on weekends. She wasn't my type, so I never reciprocated the interest. She lived in the next town over that was a fair distance to my town, so she had to go out of her way to stalk me. The thing is, she knew where I was going to be before I got there. Like I went to the skate park with my other friends on a Saturday afternoon, she'd be there already waiting for me. She'd just hide around the corner trying to not be noticed while just watching me. If I went to the mall, she'd be there and followed me through the mall just far enough behind that she wouldn't be in my face, but also not far enough that I didn't see her following me. It took me longer than I'm proud of to realize that she was getting Daniel to fish info from me before the weekend started so she could plan out her stalking schedule ahead of time. Once I realized that Daniel was doing that for her, I would lie about my plans so she would get false leads and go to the wrong place. After a while of the sister not seeing where I was supposed to be, Daniel would ask me on Monday why I didn't go to where I said I would be. I'd play dumb and say, how did you know I was there? I only got crickets as replies. I used the excuse that my friends changed their minds last minute and so we went somewhere else. Him and I were genuine friends. He wasn't just pretending to be friends with me for her sake, but I still never understood why he agreed to help her with that. Maybe he felt sorry for her. The worst was the one and only time Daniel came to hang out at my house at his suggestion, which I was excited about. This was before I wised up to their techniques. We were friends but didn't see each other outside of school much since he lived so far, so it was cool we finally got to hang out outside of school for a change. But he brought his sister with. I was not aware he was going to do that. She just showed up. I didn't like confrontations and was too socially awkward, so I never said anything to him or her that day. I should have said something like, how is this kind of a messed up, not cool to spring on me last minute thing, but I just went along with it, not knowing what to say or do in that situation. I mean, what do you do with your stalker when you unexpectedly spend an afternoon with her in your home? I'll answer my question. You tell her she's not welcome in your home and to go away, dumbass. We watched some TV in silence most of the afternoon, played some PlayStation, and she got to see my room. Fuck, that makes me cringe thinking back on it now. It was so awkward between all three of us that after that visit, I think she returned to just stalking me at a distance instead of trying to spend time with me in person. Damn, I was an idiot teenager. Okay, people are crazy. I understand having a little bit of an obsessive crush, okay? I mean, I understand that. But to go to this extent where you're actually stalking someone is truly so insane to me and so scary and truly traumatizing. If someone were stalking me, I would be very afraid and very concerned for their well-being. Okay, the title of the next story is, I fixed my neighbor's sink and 2 months later he left me his house. I've lived in the same apartment for almost 10 years. Quiet place, mostly retirees. One of them was a grumpy old guy who never smiled and always wore socks with sandals. 2 months ago, I heard banging and cursing through the wall. I knocked and found him standing in a puddle with a wrench in one hand and a YouTube tutorial paused on his iPad. The kitchen sink was spraying water like a busted fire hydrant. I'm no plumber, but I offered to help. Took me an hour, 2 towels, and 1 trip to Home Depot. When I finished, he just grunted and said, "Huh, thanks." After that, I started checking in, bringing his mail up, picking up his meds, talking baseball in the hallway. He never said much, but he'd nod a little longer each time. 2 weeks ago, he passed away. He had a massive heart attack. I figured that was that. Yesterday, a lawyer called me. Turns out he left me his condo in his will, paid off, furniture included. Apparently, I was the only person who bothered to give a damn. I still don't know what to do with it. I never expected anything like this, but I guess sometimes kindness boomerangs in the weirdest, wildest ways. Anyway, be nice to your neighbors. You never know who's watching or what they'll leave behind.
Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support.
That's so slay, honestly. Please, I want that. Give me your condo. What do you mean you don't know what to do with it? I'd be moving in. I'd be like, hey, how y'all doing? Like, I'm going in, I'm moving, because I'm assuming, I mean, he's his neighbor, so does he not live, like, in a similar condo near him? Or I guess, I don't know if he bought his condo. I don't know, but all I know is I don't own anything, so if I randomly owned something, I would be moving in, especially if it was paid off. Are you kidding? Paid off? Like, thank you. I would be praying to him like he was a god. Like, that is actually so nice of him. And I always love how I feel like grandpas are so silent. Like, so many, well, I don't know. My grandpa specifically, who passed away a couple years ago, he was so silent, but whenever he would say something, it was always with so much thought. Like, he knew this was going to be funny. So he's like, this time I'll say something. But most of the time he just listened, or he just laughed, or, just nodded like an old grandpa. But once in a while he would say something, and it would just be the funniest thing ever. He was very specific and meticulous with what he would actually let come out of his mouth. Maybe because it took up so much energy to actually get it out. Okay, the top comment says, I wish you had been able to know him longer. Rest in peace to your neighbor. It has to feel a bit weird receiving a gift like that under the circumstances, but you should be glad that you had a positive impact in his life, on his life. Yeah, I would love that. If someone left me something, I would feel so happy. Like, I'd be like, I really impacted that person that much to the point where they left me their house. That would make me feel so good. Like, that would give me so much euphoria, because just knowing that, like, I treated a person with that much kindness that they felt the need to leave me that out of all the people that they've ever met in their life. Like, that's how my mom, when she used to work in hospice, she worked in hospice for years and years and years when I was in high school. And my first car actually was given to her by her patient, her hospice patient, who was a young man. He was like in his mid 30s, and he had breast cancer. He had brain cancer, and he had like so much of his brain removed. He, by the end of his life, like, I think he had like 30% of his brain left. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe that's not even possible, but I know that he had to have so many surgeries, and he was just like, obviously he was in hospice for years. So like, he was dying, and my mom was the person that was taking care of him in the end of his life. But he had very wealthy parents. He had 2 very wealthy parents that my mom got really close to. My mom got really close to him as well, the man. And he told his parents that he wanted my mom to have his car when he passed away. So his parents gave my mom his car when he passed away. And then that car was with us for so long. It was my mom drove it for years. Then when I turned 16, I got the car and I drove it until I moved away for school. And then once I moved away for school, my brother was like getting out of jail and getting his life together. My mom gave the car to him, and he like fixed it all up, because my brother is very smart and he can learn things like so quick. And so he fixed it all up, and yeah, that car stayed with us for so long. And I think my brother only got rid of it like a couple years ago, because it was like pretty much done for. It was like a 1995 something. But I just thought that was like so cool, and just showed how much of an impact my mom made on that person's life. My mom just is a very, very, very kind soul. She's very angelic and kind. Like, it's actually crazy how nice she is, and how positive she is, and like such a happy person, and that she never like gets mad or shows that she's mad at anyone ever. And it's been like that my whole life. Like, she's always been a very kind person and somehow just never in a bad mood, ever. And I'd always feel like I was a terrible person whenever I was in a bad mood, and she just is never in a bad mood. I'm like, how do you do it? How do you do it? I want to be that. Like, I want to be that positive of a person and just like never be annoyed or upset or frustrated. Just always show positivity and kindness through any emotion that you're having. Like, that's a strength to me. Okay, the title of the next story is My Boyfriend Said He'd Choose Our Baby Over Me, and I'm Not Sure How to Feel. Today, I, 23 female, asked my boyfriend, 25 male, a hypothetical question. Quote, if I were in critical condition while pregnant and the doctors could only save one of us, me or the baby, who would you save? He got kind of teary-eyed and, without hesitation, said he would save the baby. He said it's our child, his child, and that's what he would choose. I was honestly expecting him to say me. I thought he'd say something like, we can always try again, or I can't live without you. But he just chose the baby. Bluntly, emotionally, yes, but still firmly. I don't know why. It just hurt. I get that it's his child too. I get that this is a complex question with no easy answer, but I just can't shake off this weird hollow feeling in my chest. Like I became a second priority in a scenario where my life was on the line. I guess I just wanted to feel like I mattered more to him. I didn't expect this question to mess me up emotionally, but it did. I don't even know if I'm mad or just sad. I just needed to let this out. So you would choose someone you don't even know over the person that you love and are in a relationship with? I don't know. That's crazy. If my boyfriend were like the one that was getting pregnant and he asked me that, I would be like, obviously you, I love you. You're already a person with a life, a human being with a life and family and friends. And I love you. And have been together for so long, and we can always try for another baby, or we can adopt a baby. I mean, maybe if you're about to die giving birth, you probably don't want to try for another baby. You can try in other ways. Or I would just be like, actually, after that experience, if you didn't want to have a kid after that, I would be totally fine with that as well, because I love you and I already know you. Like, I don't really understand how you could choose a hypothetical person over a person that you are in a committed relationship with, that you love and you know. There's an edit. It says, thanks for all the support, and I enjoyed reading all the comments and replies that explains that my feelings are valid to feel shit about what seems to be normal for him. Thank you all. The top comment says, you want a partner who will honor your wishes and advocate for you when you can't advocate for yourself. True. In civilized places, doctors choose the mother first. That's all I need to know. Someone responded to that and said, a main problem in my country right now is that men value unborn life over living, breathing human beings. Many of these men are married as well, meaning they vote that unborn hypothetical life is more important than the person they promise to love and cherish for better or worse for the rest of their lives. Then media is like, quote, why are more and more women staying single? Like, gee, I wonder why, LMAO. That is exactly what I'm saying. You're telling me a person that doesn't even exist yet is getting priority over me? I already exist. I'm already a human being who has formed connections and relationships with people. And you also are supposed to love me, but you're just going to be like, oh, yep, kill her. She's the chosen one. I'm actually so scared. I'm so scared. Help me. But I'm so glad that I know. I wouldn't even have to ask my boyfriend this, because I already know his answer. He would obviously choose me. Obviously. There's not even like, if I asked him this, he would be like, are you serious? You're actually asking me that? Because obviously I would choose you. And I know that's exactly how he would respond. I'll ask him later. I said I won't even have to ask him, but I actually want to hear how he would respond to that, because I know that whenever like I ask him hypothetical questions like that, he's just very blunt, and he's like, obviously, like, what? How is that even a question? You know? That's what I love about him. I think this This scenario, like genuinely, if my partner said this, it would be grounds for breaking up, in my opinion, because that is just so far off kilter of what my views are of humans and people that I'm in a relationship with, or a person, I guess, that I'm in a relationship with, or a friendship, or a family member. Like, I'm also rewatching Handmaid's Tale right now, and it's really crazy because there are so many things that are like just so relatable, especially right now, and it's so crazy to watch. And especially as a woman, like as a woman, you look at things in such a different lens, with such a different perspective. This show, men probably watch it as more entertaining, whereas I, as a woman, I'm not going to speak for every woman, but I watch it as something like relatable. Like, wow, stuff like this happens to women. And maybe this is an exact scenario happening, like there's no one's overthrowing the government. Well, we're not turning into Gilead, okay? Making this whole handmaids whatever, like, and also the birth rate is not declining, I don't believe. I'm pretty sure we're good on that. Like, the population is popping. But it's crazy to think that like things that are happening in that show like have been happening in real life, and especially lately, like even with, there is a specific scenario in the show where they keep the one of the handmaids gets shot and she's pregnant, and they keep her alive for months so that she can deliver this baby. And that's something that's happening in America right now, which is just so mind-boggling to me that because especially years ago when this show came out in 2017, and we watched it, and it's just like, it was obviously so hypothetical, but as the political climate heats up, you rewatch that show and we can relate to so many things, and there are so many scenarios in the show that are happening in real life, and it's really scary. It's terrifying to be a woman, really, especially in this day and age when, why is it being normalized to look at women as like a vessel, like as just a womb? It's like, why are we going back in time? Why are we going back in time? Why are we reversing? Is what I'm wondering. Like, aren't we supposed to be progressing? Aren't we supposed to be moving forward, Moving forward and like opening our eyes in the world. This person said, a living mother can also try again. A dead one can't. Yeah, exactly. People in here, quote, this is a difficult question. No, it's not. If your knee-jerk reaction isn't to save your lover and partner, then you're wrong. Period. Women are not incubators. Period, queen. This person said, the state of Georgia is currently keeping a brain-dead woman alive because she was 9 weeks pregnant when she died. So, sadly, you're wrong. No, it's actually insane. Like that. Oh my God, I didn't know how early in the pregnancy she was. That's so much more upsetting because we've also known for years that brain dead bodies don't perfuse organs well because the body can't give the right amount of things to each organ. It's 10 times worse with pregnancy because the brain needs to regulate the amount of blood and nutrients, everything going to the baby, which life support systems just can't do. There is no medical reason whatsoever to do this. 100%. This person literally said, unless you're in Georgia or a character in Handmaid's Tale. This person commented, I had a complicated birth and was very clear that if it was me or the baby, keep the baby alive. My husband immediately refused, saying, we can make another baby, but we can't make another you. I was mad in the moment because I really wanted my baby to take priority, but later realized how touching that was. Also, baby, now tween, and I are both fine. We are going to end the episode there because, of course, this is a mini episode. Every time I do that, I hate when it goes like the spring makes a noise, and it's so annoying because I'm just trying to adjust the microphone. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed that episode. Let me know, maybe this is going to be a little bit of a controversial episode, which it really shouldn't be. But, of course, every time I mention anything even slightly political, even though women's bodies should not be political, people like to be up in arms. So, yeah. But anyways... I love you guys, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Obviously, let me know, again, I already said that, but let me know what you thought about the stories that we talked about The first one was actually so crazy to me, and I still cannot get over that. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the comments, okay? I love you, and I'll talk to you later in the next episode. Love you so much. Bye. My merch is out. Yeah, but this is it. And this comes in pink, black, and white. If you want to get a little cute piece of merch, go grab one.
Link is in the description to purchase.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.